Affordable social housing is the core of service delivery, and the man at the helm of that is MMC Mlungisi Mabaso. How will he deliver on his plans and priorities? My colleague Hlutleko sat down with him, and this is for the record.
MMC, thank you so much for your time this morning. Your top 3 priorities, as according to, the Executive Mayor's press briefing.
For us, the informal settlement upgrade, it will always top our priorities because of the condition that people within informal settlement lives in. The redevelopment of hostels has always been our priorities. It's just that we haven't had sufficient budget to implement that program, but it remains top the priority for us. The student accommodation, we have been very vocal about that, even in a previous political term. Even now, because City of Johannesburg has more than 20 high learning institutions, and those students are really struggling to find accommodation. You'll end up finding other ones staying at the back rooms in townships, and the environment there is not conducive for them. And there is a need for us as the local sphere of government that is closer to the people, to try and intervene in the space and see what we can do. We launched one at Vormarans, and there is another building now which is ready, but there are engagement that we still have to embark on. We are still working with JPC to identify other buildings and other parcels of land in the inner city for us to construct a student precinct. And the other program that we have prioritized is off-take deeds. We roll out that program in all our regions, and we are going to do it, but it is a day-to-day program. It's the program that we don't set target. We issue title deeds as and when they come, but it is a priority for us, and we want to give ownership to all the people that have been allocated into houses, because you can't be allocated into a house and you stay there for years without getting ownership of the house. The reason for us to invest more in the inner city, in other regions like your region E in Rivonia, is because you've got people working in Sandton, but they are from Soweto. So we are trying to provide them with the accommodation in areas where they are working.
MMC, you touched on student accommodation. I'm just interested to know the importance of the economy of student accommodation in the context of Joburg.
Well, first of all is that for Joshko, it's going to create more jobs for us because it is a new business that we are trying to invest in, and it will require a capacity within the institution itself. So for us to do that, then that means we have to bring in people that will manage the student accommodation, so that will create employment. But second to that, even in the facilities itself, in terms of your maintenance and all those things, so you will need people that will deal with that. But also in terms of revenue collection for the entity, because currently Joshko is struggling with the rental collection because of COVID and all those things, and there are people that demand ownership. So with student accommodation, it is also going to enhance the revenue collection for the entity, because it will be sustainable, because it will not be the students that will be paying, but it will be the institutions that will be paying to Joshko. And I don't see us having to experience some challenges in terms of rental collection. That's going to bring sustainability financially to the institution. And once you have a stable entity like Joshua, then that means there will be more investment in the city, because Joshua is not going to stop with the investment for so long that the business is financially sustainable, then that means they are going to roll out more programs. And for Joshko to roll out more programs, then that means more job creation for the people of Johannesburg.
MMC, how sustainable are these plans and programs for you, especially in bringing people closer to where they work? And also, can you give us, is it possible rather, to give us timeframes on these projects?
Well, the programs are planned for 3 financial years. Remember, it's a mega project. It's a 10-key development. So they are planned for 3 years, and there are funds that have been allocated in the midterm budget. There were funds that were allocated per financial year, and we've got capacity. Joshua has capacity, Department of Housing has capacity. And we said if we are not getting financial assistance from the provincial government, then we'll have to invite private developers to work with us and to assist us in that space. So there are sustainability plans that we have looked into, and there are alternative avenues that will also apply if then our initial plan does not succeed. And that plan is to bring in private developers to work with us in the space and to assist us, because it's not as much as Joshua is a big social housing institution in the land, but you also got other social housing institutions which are privately owned that we can also bring on board and assist us in the space. And if we are failing as well into that space, you've got other big companies like your Cacro, like your Velumex, companies with capacity, companies that can actually build and invoice you later. So those are the other avenues that we can also explore and see then how we can then assist the process. But the reality is that our plan is sustainable, and how we have actually conceptualized the whole idea, it will make it easier even for anyone that will want to come and invest in this development. So there won't be any red tapes. I know local government is highly legislated, yes, and all those things, but we have made it in such a way that it's business friendly even for people who wants to come and invest.
MMC, just lastly from my side, and on a lighter note, I know you as a journalist from the previous term, like you said, but what don't the residents of the city know about you, or perhaps even the councillors that you serve with in council? What can you tell us about MMC Mlungisi Mabaso that we don't already know?
No, but the reality is that, I'm an open book. Yeah. What you see is what you get. There's nothing beyond that. So I think I spoke a lot about myself, how I grew up, what I like to do, but I don't have a spare time. That's the thing. I'm always at work. I'm always working. I enjoy helping people. I like to get involved. I like to get my hands dirty. And I'm a hands-on person. I don't sit around and fold my hands and expect people to do a work on my behalf. Growing up in a hostel, I realized that people are really in need of houses, and we have a huge responsibility to improve living condition of our people, and that's what drives me.